Terry Sachs, here. Marla Hexter.
Here.
Chuck Laddick. Here. Andrew Belmar. Here. Paul Maxey. Tom Manning. Here. Terry Frederick.
Here.
Announcements: township meetings are recorded for the purpose of preparing the minutes, and recording is destroyed 6 months after the minutes are approved. It is requested that all persons wishing to speak before the board shall state their name, address, and the subject matter upon which they wish to speak for the record. In the interest of the facilitating of the business of the board, all persons addressing the board shall be limited to 2 minutes unless such time is extended by the chairman for good cause. Individuals are requested to remain in their seats and to respect when other persons are speaking. The Board of Supervisors will provide a reasonable opportunity for citizens to comment on any non-agenda items after all agenda items have been addressed, but prior to the adjournment of the public meeting. Adopted 1/30/18. Minutes to be approved: October 30th and November 7th. I know they just come out today. Am I correct?
Yes.
I did not get a chance to completely read them all because one come out late. I'd like to approve them this coming next meeting. Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Pretty much caught up in the next meeting, I hope.
Yes. Yeah.
But I said that before today.
Public comment. Do we have any public comment? Okay. Sewer treatment plant noise study results. We had a study on the sewer treatment plant, and we have some results.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, just provide some background on this. There was a noise issue associated with the new wastewater treatment plant. Complaints were received on several dates, including February-March 2018 timeframe. Construction had not been completed by then, but toward the end of construction around May, the contractor installed silencers at that point. Contractor and design engineer tell us they tested for noise, and their results were that the new wastewater treatment plant met the noise ordinance requirements. Now, the noise ordinance for the township sets limits. In this case, it's a 60 decibel limit, and that's a 24 hours limitation. That's measured at the property line of the neighboring property. So the township had received a letter from an attorney for Mrs. Coletti, I believe it is, who was complaining about the noise. The township investigated. Among other things, mufflers were installed, no cost to the township. That's coming from Gannett Fleming. Gannett Fleming investigated themselves, and then most recently, the township hired an outside third-party investigator to perform testing at the site. That's R&M Equipment Company, and they have now provided a result for the board, and that shows that at 2 different time periods that they were testing, the noise emanating from the wastewater treatment plant falls within the township noise ordinance. So no issue there. As an aside, Mrs. Coletti has written to the township most recently to say it's much improved, and she withdraws any idea of a complaint. So with that, I believe that the noise issue is now today.
You have a motion on accepting this?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'm sorry, what do we have?
So I think you're saying that accepting the results of the testing under the noise ordinance.
Results of the study done by R&M Equipment Company.
Correct.
I would
Take
take
my motion off the table.
a motion to accept the R&M's study.
I'll second that.
And is there any questions?
Who made the motion? You withdrew, okay.
And then I second.
Okay. Is there any questions? Vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Just for everybody, this is not to say that if we continue to find ways to improve
sent the
He sent a written test result.
just results.
Sewer treatment plant, approval of final estimate and completion certificate. A. Do you have that?
We do in our packet, I believe this is at the suggestion of Gavin Fleming, Township's project manager.
So we're coming to the end of the line for the sewage treatment plant, and these are the final actions that we will need to take to essentially close the contracts. What you have before you are a number of documents. One is estimate number 22, second, the completion certificate, third, the final release and waiver of lien, and fourth, the consent for surety for final payment. All of these documents have been reviewed by your engineer, Dan Fleming. They have been approved, and at this point, it's your engineer, Dan Fleming's recommendation, as well as your staff's recommendation, to approve all these documents and to release the final payment to Lobar, who's the general contractor, of $50,000.
Can we have a motion on that?
I'll move.
I'll second.
Any questions? Can we take a vote?
Aye.
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 If I can, Mr. Chairman, just one additional item,
Yes.
which is related. I went back into your records. There were 4 contracts involved in the construction of the plant. They totaled $7,509,021. Those were the original contracts and the original amount. With this payment, the total cost of the sewage treatment facility is $7,639,925.94. That's a variance of only $140,000 on a $7.5 million project. So from where I'm sitting, for what it's worth, that's pretty darn good.
Thank you.
Question?
Linda.
Linda Jansen, Simmons Road. Linda Jansen, Simmons Road. Mr. Fedorchak, 4 contracts, 2 of them were issued to Garden State Electrical, Garden State Mechanical, Lobar, and Clipper Pipe. That's what the $7 million totals. I believe that the figure, I don't have it in front of me, that was paid to Gavin Fleming is upwards of $2 million, 2.2, I believe, somewhere in that vicinity. So when you're saying the cost of the plant, that's just on the physical contracts to build the plant. But you had $2 million worth of costs to oversee the construction and be the general manager. So in essence, the plant is really $9.5 million. Thank you.
Thank you. You want to move on here? Yeah.
Yes. The Gavin Fleming invoices. I didn't.
You voted on that.
Yeah, we got the consideration of Gannett Plumbing Engineering invoices left that were held, correct?
That's correct, sir. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different invoices that have been submitted over the course of the last year. They total $51,000. $137.48. It's your staff's recommendation that those invoices be paid, considering all the items that we discussed this evening.
Can I have a motion?
So,
1,000.
I'll second.
Any questions? A vote?
Aye.
aye.
Aye. Then this cleans Gannett Plumbing completely up.
Yes, it
Out.
does. And it essentially closes the entire sewage treatment project.
Okay. Carl Schuler, Ocean Road Sidewalk Project.
Send these down the table. Your copy. I'll share that with you. So, Fred. I'll also send down some cost estimates. So, as directed by the Board of Supervisors, since the last meeting, we surveyed the area of Goshen Road for a proposed sidewalk, starting from Brimley Road and going in a westerly direction for about 830 feet on the north side of Goshen Road. The plan you see before you is the preliminary plan. It shows the physical location of the proposed sidewalk, the grading that's necessary to achieve the sidewalk, including accessibility at either end of the sidewalk. In preparing these plans and grading, it became evident that a retaining wall would be required down here in the Brimley Road area. So that's shown as a heavy line down here. You see top of the wall and bottom of the wall annotations. The wall height approaches at its highest point, it approaches 4 feet, and it tapers down on either side to about 1.5 feet. And at the top end, there's an 8-inch curb or cheek wall, also to make a grading transition. And the reason for these is to keep all the work within the township right-of-way, so that all the proposed improvements would be within the right-of-way. What this plan doesn't yet show you is the addressing of stormwater management. That would come in the final plan, and any structural work that might need to be done for the retaining wall.
Question. So you say it's all within our right of way, but it looks like at both ends it's somebody's property. So we're going to be on people's properties?
No, we will be within the township right-of-way in front of somebody's property. So in other words, the township owns a 50-foot wide right-of-way, and the street is less than 50 feet wide. The street's about 30 feet wide. So from curb line out, you as the township own another 10 feet that was dedicated to the township when this development was built. So you're in the right-of-way along the frontage of somebody's property, but you're not actually on their property. Their property in these developments goes to the county.
I understand that, but the reason we decided not to do it on the other side and just half the price is because one of the residents said they didn't want it there. Was that also our right of way?
That could also be done on our right-of-way, that's correct.
So what if these two residents, have they been asked, what if they don't want it? What's the difference?
I'm going to defer to you.
Yeah, so I have had conversations with different residents, and again, the whole purpose of this was to do it on the right of way. My conversations with a multitude of residents across the township and on Goshen Road, I should say the community and on Goshen Road, have indicated their support for this for the strict reason of connectivity, connecting the west end of the Cedarville development to the east end. If it was done on the side of the basin where there is no connectivity, it takes it down to Brimley where there is no more sidewalk, in essence, a dead end. On this side of the road, you have it connected to Brimley Road's sidewalk, which then allows people to walk into all the different directions in that area.
I understand that, but we did a submission for a sidewalk a year ago
executive development you have over here with the board.
Even so, should we speak to these two residents to, so we can find out if they're opposed or not opposed?
Yeah, we absolutely can. I have tried to reach out to the resident here. I can tell you that the kids that live in that property are kids that are at that bus stop. That property is a rental property. So the person that owns that property does not actually live in that property.
Okay.
So I'm happy to connect with them to make sure that they understand it. But again, it being in the right of way, everything that I have been informed about, it is allowable and again, encouraged by the residents that have been very adamant about this project.
Right, but the residents who spoke about the project have not had it in their front yard. I don't want anything to stand in the way of approval of
No, I
something.
agree. I agree.
Because I remember what happened last time, and I know it's a little different, but I just don't want someone to raise their hand and say, no way, and have sabotage the whole project.
I
So
understand.
it sounds like the person on the other end might be the person to just at least inform them this may be coming.
They have been informed. I just
And
we
they
have that
should.
content. We need to have, again, this is a rental property, so it's difficult to get in contact with the person. So once I am finally in contact with that person, I can talk to them and let them know this property does know about it. They were in favor of it not being on their property. Perhaps that can change at a later date. But again, this was in the right of way, and that was the purpose of the thing, so that it wasn't actually on their private property.
Carol, what would happen if any of these residents said, I don't want this on my property?
Well, from the township perspective, you can do things in your right of way. You own the right of way, you have the legal right. You do have a point, though, that if somebody said to the county, I don't want this, that would hurt the opportunity to get this grant.
And we've been slapped on something, I don't want to see this happen again, the same thing. It's just, it's embarrassing. So I know it's the 11th hour, but we need to ensure that this thing is going to sail smoothly and not have any errors.
I think we can get this moving so as in your face, we can move this quite swimmingly so that, again, this is something that the county can approve.
So continuing on with this discussion, on the agenda, it also speaks to grant opportunities. I just want to give you a little bit of background here. The total construction cost when we incorporate the stormwater management and the proposed retaining wall, we have a subtotal for basic construction items of $90,000. When you add in contingencies and survey and administration and inspection, we get to 125. So we have $125,000 for the grant application. The Modco 2040 grant was the primary grant that had been discussed. The applications for that are due March 1st, and it's my understanding the county planner has been working on that application. That grant grants up to $200,000 per project. There is a 20% match required, and although the engineering and design is not grant funded, it can be considered as part of the match. So the money that you invest in the survey and design can be considered part of that 20% match. As far as other potential grant programs that we could look at for this project, if it didn't go forward in 2040, there's the multi-modal grant. That's coming out March 1st with applications due July 31st. That's a grant program for projects that range between $100,000 and $3 million. That has a 30% match. That's a cash-only match. But you can use state and county money for your match as well. And that allows up to 10% of grant reimbursement for engineering and survey. There are DCNR grants out there for parks and trails, and there's a possibility we might fall under that. However, those applications for this year are due April 10th, and that's got a 50% match with 10% of the grant to fund engineering. That's a pretty tight timeline for paperwork so we can get that in. We also investigated whether or not there's a possibility for CDBG grant funding. At this point, the Lower Frederick community is not eligible. The only chance would be if a survey were performed that would document household incomes for all the affected properties. You basically need to get everybody to agree to tell you their salary and find out whether or not they would qualify for low, moderate income. It's quite a threshold to cross. If you need more information on that, I have it, and I'll be happy to talk to you.
Carol?
Yes, sir.
The multi-modal program, a few years back, they ran it 100% construction, and then the township, the municipality would be responsible for the soft costs. Have they changed that?
The current application information has a 30% match for the multimodal, and they currently say that's a cash match. So I guess that's the simple answer. It's a cash match right now.
All right, thanks.
Do you want to move on to the grant, the resolutions authorizing the 2040 county grant?
Before we do that, I just want to really emphasize that we should not be submitting the grant submission unless we have crossed all our T's and dotted our I's. And that means I do not want to see a repeat of what happened last year. The county already thinks we're not prepared, not doing our homework. If we do the exact same thing again and we have one of the residents complaining, I don't think we're ever going to get a grant. So I would say until we can confirm that these residents are okay with us putting a sidewalk on their property, we should not be submitting this.
Well, the issue with that is the fact that this grant application is due at the end of this week. And we have talked with a number of these residents. These residents have indicated for years that public safety is an issue in the township, particularly on this road. It should have been connected when the developer put in this property, but it was not.
I have no objection to that. We're talking about two different issues. The issue is we put in a grant submission a year ago for a sidewalk project, and the residents all said, no, you didn't ask us, we don't want the project. When the county asked that question, we had to say, no, the residents don't want it. It was a big embarrassment.
The question is if it's in the right of way. That project in the past was not in the right of way, as we just learned. This is in the right of way.
Chuck, did you have your hand?
Chuck Geiser, North Rhineford Road. So we had some back and forth with the county, I'm going to say,